as we start seeing all these animals out here on the reserve, they can be pretty exciting, but we do want to make sure that we are respectful of them at all times. That means we'll do our best to use our indoor voices on the truck, and we definitely won't yell at the animals, call out to them, make animal noises, whistle, clap, anything like that. That said, we're going to be starting off here in the little interior forest. The animals out here make full use of all that really dense foliage that you're seeing to stay camouflaged, as it is their main defense against predators, but we are typically still pretty lucky. So just for example, down there on the right, you might see that okapi. He's kind of hanging out by that bamboo wall right now. He's got those striped legs. A lot of people think okapis are related to zebras because of those stripes, but in reality, the okapi's closest living relative is the giraffe. We know that because of the shape of their skull. On some other things, like for example, they both have what's called a prehensile tongue. That means they can grasp things with their tongues, sort of like how you and I can grasp our hands and our fingers. And then we're going to keep moving along here, and you're going to want to move over. It's a pretty fantastic view of that black rhino over there. He's by the grass. Black rhinos like that. It's a pretty massive animal. They can be up to about 3,000 pounds large. You can probably get a pretty good look of that horn on the rhino there. Of course, they're one of their most distinct characteristics. They're pretty impressive. And then on the right here, you'll see several sabongos. That's those rust-colored animals with those horns on their heads, as well as the greater kudus. That's those tan ones with no horns, with those really big and cute ears. Both male and female bongos have horns, so it can be a little harder to just tell them apart when you're just getting a quick little glance at them like that. But only male greater kudus have horns, so we can be pretty sure that those kudus we saw there were all female. And then as we head out of Venturi, there on the left, kind of by those bushes, if you see those big black and white birds, those are saddle-billed storks. That patch of yellow on their bill does kind of resemble a saddle. It's really got that name from it. They're pretty tall too. A saddle-billed stork can be up to 5 feet tall. So the tallest storks out here in the forest. Now, as we head out of Venturi, we're going to be going down to the Safi River. The animals in Safi do very much prefer to stick to those watery areas, either in the river or around the river, since it is so much cooler for them. So we'll see what we spot in the water. If you look to your right, you can probably already start seeing some of those hippos there. We'll kind of drive past these really slowly to see if we find some on the left side as well. That might be in a slightly better spot to see. Hippos do spend most of their day fully submerged underwater, up to about 20 hours a day down there. And there are some hippos here on the left that you can also get a pretty great view of there. So my friends on both sides of the truck can see them. Look at that one splashing around. It's a perfect view. Even with all the time that they spend underwater, hippos actually can't swim or breathe underwater. They sort of just walk along the bottom of the riverbed and come up for air whenever they need to. Those big white birds that you might be seeing out there with the really long beaks are pink-backed pelicans. Their backs sort of turn a shade of pink during mating season. It helps to let those other pelicans know that they are ready for mating. Kind of coming up to that time of the year for them, so you might have seen that sort of pinkish coloring on them right now. Now, on the left here, you'll see those Nile crocodiles.
Oh my god.
So make sure we're all staying fully seated.
You gotta stay seated.
Nile crocodiles like those can be up to about 16 feet long. They are super massive predators and some of the strongest jaws out in the wild. So they can still be pretty gentle with those jaws. Sometimes mom and dad crocodile will roll eggs around in their mouth to encourage those babies to hatch a little bit faster. Baobab tree. They're sometimes also called the upside down tree. You can probably imagine why, taking a look at it there. It does kind of look like it was planted upside down with its roots up in the air. Because for about 9 months out of the baobab tree has no leaves. That helps it to conserve water out here on the savanna, where water can sometimes be a bit of a scarce resource. Now, as we start heading on down here in the savannah, you probably already start seeing some of those animals out there, those really famous and recognizable savanna animals. If I don't talk about something right away, it's very likely because we'll see them. We'll keep seeing them or see even better looks of them as we keep going down our ride path. So I want to make sure that we get a chance to talk about all the animals out here. So I promise I see all of those giraffes out there. But I'm going to start off with these little springboks over there on the right, kind of hanging around by those trees and that patch of grass. Those tan animals with the little white underbellies. Springbok are very small. They're only about 3 feet tall, but they are some of the fastest animals in the world. And they are really, really powerful jumpers. A springbok can jump about 6 feet straight up or 13 feet across. And then also here on the right are some zebras. Those are Hartman's mountain zebras. They are actually black animals with white stripes. They might kind of look like they have more of that white on them, but those could just be a little bit deceiving at times. That's why instead we will look for those kind of fleshier areas like hooves and noses. Those are much better indicators of what color an animal really is. On the left there in those grasses, you can see some African painted dogs. So make sure that we are staying fully seated at all times. Those dogs are pretty cute. They look a lot like dogs that we might have at home, but they are definitely wild animals. They are some of the most successful predators out in the wild. They can chase their prey all together as a pack. So they just can't run away anymore. They have about an 80% success rate doing that. On the right, you can see that prehensile tongue on the giraffe we were talking about earlier, the way that it reaches up with that tongue to grab at the leaves there. That's in the side giraffe here on the reserve. It can be up to about 18 to 20 feet tall. And then on the left, some Nkoli cattle and some sables. Nkoli cattle are the bull-like ones that are closer to the truck there. And then the sables are the ones a little bit further down with those really long and thin horns that kind of curve towards their back. Sables' horns curve towards their body like that because it discourages predators from trying to jump on them or catch them by surprise or anything like that. If they try to, they would just end up going straight onto one of those horns, which even the toughest predators out here doesn't want to do. As for those Nkoli cattle, those really big horns on their head might look really heavy, but they're actually made up of a honeycomb-like structure, so they are just about hollow. Not all too bad for those animals. And then we're gonna come around this turn here and go ahead and just pause for a moment where we can see that tower of giraffe out there. Giraffes, animal group, we name it a tower. That's what we call them when they're hanging out all together. It's a pretty unique name for them, seeing as they do kind of tower over the giraffe out here. Tower over the savanna out here, I mean. You see that little one out there? He's about 13 months old, one of those younger giraffes out here right now. He does look pretty small, but really only in comparison to those other giraffes. The baby giraffe is already born at about 6 feet tall, so pretty big for an animal out here. Up on that hill there, under the shade of that tree, you just kind of see those gray animals over there. Those are wildebeest. They're kind of relaxing and enjoying that shade right now, so not the easiest to spot, but wildebeest will typically hang out together in their herds, just like you saw those doing, because it is how they will stay safe when they migrate. They do it in really massive herds of up to about 1.5 million wildebeest at a time. eyes peeled, see if we see some more elephants out here. We are kind of traveling through elephant territory right now. Got to look at them there to start us off. I believe we'll see them again here on the right. There they are again on the right. You can already really get a feel for just how large those animals are. They're going to be up to about 7 tons or 14,000 pounds. So as large as elephants are, a lot of them are actually afraid of bees, which might sound kind of silly. Elephants are so big and bees are so small, but their skin is really sensitive, so they will just kind of naturally stay away from those bees and those bee stings out in the wild. We know that because of research that was done right here on the reserve thanks to the Disney Conservation Fund, and it's been pretty useful as farmers that once had trouble with elephants breaking into their farms and destroying crops are now able to set up beehives along their fence lines to keep those elephants away without hurting them. Even give them an extra profit from with that honey. So really the windland all around the elephants and bees. Let's learn more about that or how to work that in the wild. See it a little bit better, so we'll kind of just keep going slowly by this path, see if we can see that elephant again. There he is. Pretty gorgeous view of that elephant there, splashing yourself with that water using that really impressive trunk of theirs. Of course, drinking some water to stay cool, stay hydrated out here. Another way that elephants can manage the heat is by flapping their ears. An elephant can flap its ears and lower its body temperature down about 10 to 15 degrees, which is a very handy skill to have out here on the savannah. I'm sure you all notice for yourself how hot it gets here. And then around this island there are the greater flamingos. We see a couple out there that look a little different from the rest. They're smaller and kind of a grayish color. Those are actually baby flamingos. All flamingos are hatched that kind of grayish color because pink is not something that just naturally comes to these birds. It's a result of their diet. So as they get a little bit bigger, a little older, eat some more of that brine shrimp, eventually they will also turn that really famous pink flamingo color that we expect from them. We saw that elephant staying cool out there, drinking water, flapping your ears. Another way that animals can stay cool out here is mud pits like these on the left. They will roll around in them, get that mud all over their skin. Feels really nice in this heat, and it even gives them some protection from those harsh rays of sun and the insects out here. So it's a super multifaceted, super convenient tool for these animals. That black rhino we saw earlier, you might have seen some mud kind of streaked on its skin, because rhinos are some of those animals that like to use that mud to stay cool. If you start looking left down here, you might see it's some cheetahs. There's one kind of in the shade there that you might see. Start to kind of make out all the spots on her because of the shade and the sun, but you can see those ears kind of peeking out, and that head shape over there in that back left corner. Cheetahs are my personal favorite animal out here on the reserve. I think that they are absolutely gorgeous. They're also really impressive. impressive, of course. We can go about 0 to 60 in just 3 seconds. You can't keep those speeds up for too long. There's another cheetah on that back left corner there as well. They are sprinters, not marathon runners, but I still think 0 to 60 is impressive no matter what. They are also the only big cat that if you ever get a chance to hear those cheetah noises, they kind of sound like they meow and they purr, just like those house cats you might have at home, which is pretty cute.
I see if you can see them.
Start looking left there, you might see one of those lions kind of sleeping on that rock there. There's two of them. There's the male with that mane and then the female kind of just across from him. Also, if you look on the right, you'll see a white rhino. The white rhino is napping in that sort of just past those grasses in that bush there. You kind of see his ears switching. You might see that horn popping out. There's those lions on the left. Oh man, if you look on the left up on top of that rock, you can see one of those females stretching and kind of rolling on her back. They really do act a lot like big cats to talk. It's really cute when we get to see them like that. Lions are nocturnal animals. They are most active at night. So it's no surprise that those lions are just kind of sleeping and resting right now. It's pretty late for a lion. It's much later in the day. They start to be more active and get up and move around. But for now, they'll just kind of sleep and rest. The lions sleep up to 20 hours a day. Down there on the right, the horn speaking out in that dirt patch. That's a Bontebok. He is pretty cool for a Bontebok, so he does just kind of hang out and vibe for most of the day. Bonteboks are some of the rarest antelopes in the world. There's only about 3,500 or so of them left. They came very close to extinction. At one point there was only about 17 Bonteboks left in the whole wide world. And then a farmer fenced in that last herd of Bonteboks almost entirely by accident. And since they can't jump, they couldn't escape that fencing. And being in that one place where they were safe from poachers gave them a chance to repopulate, get those numbers back up. They are still just about extinct in the wild, but they do live on zoos and on reserves and in national parks, which is definitely better than extinction. And this goes to show you that even when the situation can be really, really bleak for some of these animals, that doesn't mean that we should just give up on them just yet. And now we are going to drive past the warden's post here on our way out of the reserve, and as we finish up our safari, you probably see all those little goats up there on the roof and on the porch. They're pretty cute. They look a lot like baby goats, but most of them there are fully grown. That's about as big as they're ever going to get.
Oh my goodness.
Living here on the warden's post, they can stay safe from any predators out on the reserve, and the warden can collect that milk up there and you can help a bunch of those extra projects around the reserve and beyond. They're just too good. We're going to sit tight together just a couple more minutes today. We're going to pull up one of those unloading docks where you can all head on out to enjoy the rest of your days out here. But I would like to take this moment